Hello, this is Oiden Ceballos, and welcome to this conference about the observation practice experiences I got out of this phase 3 around the topic language skills. As I said before, my name is Oiden Ceballos Usuga. I'm a student of Didactics of English, which is part of my studies of English teaching as foreign language at UNAT University, and this is my code 799-24912. Okay, let's begin. First, I'll do a general description of the observed classes. They took place in a kind of small institution called Liceo Pedagógico Nuestra Señora de la Sabiduría, which is located on the south of the city here in Bogota, Colombia. And specifically, I worked on the 8th grade, which had students around 13 and 15-year-old, and they were 60, 65 students in the same Zoom classroom. Some remarkable features around this contest are first the quantity of the students. We are used to seeing 25 and maximum 35 students in the classroom, and I was surprised about having 65 students in charge of one teacher, and so that was a little bit remarkable for me. On the other hand, virtual classes, the first time we tried virtual classes in a high school or middle school classroom, I know it's kind of normal or okay in universities and colleges or any other space like webinars, conferences, and that stuff. But for official class, yeah, that was kind of new and surprising. All right. And another important thing was the classroom management strategies. They were totally new in this channel, through this channel for teaching. We are used to maybe arrange chairs, let's say in a round table, or separate students so they don't keep playing and making a big noise or interrupting class. So that's the kind of classroom management we are used to doing. But here it's different. Now we have to make sure they have cameras on, microphones on, and that stuff. All right. So they were like the most remarkable features for these kind of classes in the private institution. About a teacher, a really young teacher, 22-year-old teacher, inexperienced on teaching the language, but he was a good organizer, leader, controller, kind, helpful, responsible, and honest. His tone of voice and the way he addressed his students for making some correction or suggestions about the behavior or their guidelines for being in class were really kind and helpful. He never got mad or angry, or maybe he never used bad words or that stuff. So students felt secure and in a secure place, safe. Now, about a classroom, what can I say? Virtual classroom, the teacher had a stable connectivity, and he made room in his house maybe for the classes, and that space was clear, clean, isolated, quiet, and in perfect conditions for teaching. The sound system he used was okay. everybody could listen to him clearly, you know, and had also a functional board. I mean, he would share the screen in order to present topics and the exercises. Sometimes he had open links that went to websites for doing interactive exercises, and all that worked perfectly. So everything was okay. So those are the general conditions and description of the observed classes. All right, now let's go to the question. Hold on. To the question, if I perceive that the teacher planned every class or improvised them, and if that planning or improvisation were successful or not, well, I have to say that from the very beginning, I had a plan and create the resources for supporting these classes. So all classes were planned, and we had clear structure and exercises according to the stages through the lesson. Sometimes maybe um, he went out of the script and introduced some examples and ideas that were not that clear for students and might have led to confusion sometimes. So when you are not an experienced teacher, planning is perfect and improvisation is really dangerous. So you better get stuck to the plan. So when he got stuck to the plan, it worked perfectly. When he did some improvisation, some issues happened in the classroom. Pedagogical skills. What pedagogical skills do you stand out of the English teacher? Well, he's really good at connecting previous knowledge with the new one. Perhaps because he knows by heart the students. He's been with them for 1 year already. So he knows exactly how to connect and what kind of contest call in order to set the examples and the topic he's teaching in that particular class. So I would say that's a good strategy, connecting previous knowledge to the new one to make the class meaningful for them. About the students' attitudes. What were the general attitudes of the students toward the English class, their teacher and mates? Why do you think that happens? Well, the students' attitudes toward the English class is is the same as we can see in most students in classrooms in Colombia in formal education, either public or private, like this institution, because they see English as a course and subject they have to pass. So they are more worried about grade marks and being good in terms of knowledge than in terms of performance. And they consider performance as part of knowledge. So they don't make the distinction. That's really different. So they are worried, maybe tired, and with a negative attitude toward English because it's another subject they have to pass. They have to get good grades, marks, and that's difficult. They compare that with maths and geography and that stuff. So that's their attitude toward English class, which is the wrong one. Toward the teacher, is positive. They respect the teacher. They followed the teacher. They obey, and they are never against him or maybe feeling bad treated. That's a good relationship the teacher has established with them. And mates, well, due to the pandemic and the Zoom classes, the teacher had to get together students from different 8 grades, uh, 8A, 8B, 8C, and all those students together in the same room class, you know, some of them are not familiar with the other groups. So some shyness occurred when they had to participate in the activities. But I think it's just a matter of the new situation they are living in the classroom. Okay, so that's all about this topic. What about the teacher's effect? Did you consider students learn thanks to those teachers' skills? Why or why not? Um, well, if we are talking about the pedagogical skills, yeah, the planning, the class, the resources, the exercises, the activities helped a lot the students to improve their knowledge. And if it is about teachers' performance and knowledge about a discipline, I mean English, it was not that helpful for them because he has a lack of performance and knowledge about it, the English language, so he cannot transmit or made them improve. Some of the students even have same or better pronunciation than the teacher. You know, in that case, it's quite difficult to make them advanced because remember, for you to advance in knowledge, then the homework and the new activities, they have to be challenging for you a little bit beyond your level. That way you increase, you climb one step more. Good. Sorry, to the question, would you change anything in teachers' attitudes? What and why? Well, not really. His attitude toward the teacher, toward the students, the classroom, and the activities are, is good. He has a good attitude. And about his performance and knowledge about a language, I consider his way of faith. And he must be working on that. But we have to consider that that's a long process. We don't master a language from one day to the other. We need time, practice, and and yeah, experiences. So I'm sure he's working on that and he's doing really good. About a student's proficiency, in the case that students are not very fluent in English, why do you think that happens? Well, they are certainly not very fluent in English, and mainly it happens because they are not trying to learn English or master English. They are trying to pass the course in terms of doing exercises and activities that they didn't decide, that are established by the school or the teacher, that they have to learn this structure and that one, and and that's it. And by solving this test, they will get the score they need to pass the course. And that's that. So the discussion and the conversation in the classroom is about passing the course and getting good grades and learning how to do these exercises, and that's it. But when it comes to communication, it's not a clear um, topic or situation in these classes. Which skills does the teacher encourage the most in students? Writing, speaking, listening, or reading? Why do you think he focuses mostly on that or those skills and not in all of them? Well, I guess the teacher learned English by grammar translation method because that's the one he applies in the classroom. And and also because the school demands certain knowledge from the students. As I said before, they don't make a difference between knowledge time and performance time. They always focused on form, on grammar, and whenever the students have to speak, what they have to do is just repeat a sentence that is written, and and that has to have the grammar is being taught during the lesson, So in the end, they are not speaking, just reading and repeating the sentence. Um, because speaking is more about expressing ideas and our own point of view and opinion on a topic or information from our lives. So that's not happening. So I would say he's not encouraging any of the four skills, but grammar, just grammar, knowledge instead of performance. And that happens because the lack of performance or proficiency the teacher has, and maybe the goals um, from the course and the school that are based possibly just in grammar. And that was it. Thank you so much for your time in this presentation. Again, my name is Oiren Ceballos Fusuga, and this is just a presentation for Didactics of English course, which is part of my studies in English teaching as foreign language at UNAT University. Have a good day.